given, well, what is at stake here?
As a layman, my impression of uh, Congressman Chel Jokno's oral argument was it's really an appeal to the power of the court,
Yes.
of the impeachment court. On the other hand, I would summarize Attorney Michael Poa's oral argument as don't go on a fishing expedition.
Yes.
You don't use your power, just like that. Can we talk about that some more? The fishing expedition thing.
So, fishing expeditions is this idea where you're going to use an existing legal proceeding or maneuver on something, let's say on offense A, in order to dig more on offense B, offense C, offense D. So it's using the legal processes to drum up charges, hindi naman invento, but to look for things to sue this person or that person on the basis of evidence you only find through another legal proceeding. So the reason why, and I agree with Ollie, if you look at jurisprudence at present, the fishing expedition argument hasn't been very much favored, especially in discovery, this judicial proceeding where you're really trying to get out all of the evidence of both parties para walang surprise when the trial happens. Kasi there are enough safeguards in the rules on evidence and court proceedings to maximize or to balance the benefits of being very open about the evidence you gather, but being strict about the evidence that the court can look into. Of course, the dynamics will be different in an impeachment trial kasi unlike a court where the court is trained to close its eyes towards evidence that cannot be admitted, walang ganong function in an impeachment. Hence, I think the stakes were very high for the defense na these bank records, they flash everything on the screen. The impeachment trial or the Senate uploads all of the documents on the drive. And I think there's a pushback against any idea of this being done in executive session, behind the scenes. If they subpoena it, it's out for everyone to digest and dig, and both media and the public can do a little more digging in the impeachable. And on that documents in relation to that impeachable offense.
Legal processes or legal trial back in the day, there was this expectation that it would be a game of surprises, in that witnesses at the very last minute they will be confronted with documents that do exist but they did not know had already been in the possession of the other side. They would be confronted and there would be that Perry Mason moment wherein they would just break down.
We might have to explain Perry
Mason.
I'm aging myself.
to Dean Pang.
The idea what Perry Mason is.
But in fact, so for example, in 2019, the rules on civil procedure were amended. And the rules, I think it can be said, actually encourage fishing expeditions. They've changed the mindset that from litigation being a game of surprises to litigation being a process wherein at the very beginning, even before trial, parties are already forced to either reveal the evidence that they already have, or B, utilize discovery processes in order to gain more evidence that might be in the possession, for example, of the other side. So that is the process that had traditionally been criticized as a fishing expedition, but it's perfectly allowed now. And of course, in this age wherein we don't delete documents anymore, we don't delete emails, for example, maybe even documents are digitized, so there's always a digital copy. It's harder to conceal documents, data, evidence, and that's why the potential of, or the power of discovery, for example, is intensely magnified. And I think the rules are starting to recognize that.
But that said, I'm not sure, if Dean July will agree that I think for people who do not understand the doctrine and how it has developed, it is compelling to hear na parang, fishing expedition to kasi wala naman kayong ebidensya against us. And I think it ties back to the larger narrative of persecution that was being pushed by the defense in their opening argument or opening statement last week, where they were complaining about the House proceedings containing or getting documents or being able to get documents that the complainants did not have. So part siya of the larger story na ginagamit niya yung process in order to dig stuff against the Vice President without necessarily saying that this stuff is okay. So they're complaining about the process and not really the fact that pag naghukay nga, may nahuhukay talaga.
That's right.
And it's related to our political culture. Of course, they're playing to the concept, especially for the madlang people, na andaya naman. Di ba? Bakit nyo gagamitin ito laban sa amin? Bawal yan. So I think they're trying to play on that political culture, especially among their base, no, their base constituency. No? So yan talaga ang ginagamit nila ang batas, no, para protektahan din, no, yung sarili nila. So
I wonder if you would agree with me na when I heard Attorney Michael Poe mention previous impeachment complaints, we have this and like that, it seemed like a legal argument,
right,
but it's actually a performative argument.
It's an appeal.
It's a prop.
Yeah.
Like we have these things, and they had nothing in it, and now so they're gonna use that. Is that how people would have also seen that?
Especially those who can still remember, no, the previous.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
So, and if you will remember, no, how the Duterte forces have really, raised the former Chief Justice to the level of a martyr, no? Diba? Isa yan sa ginamit nila para bakbakan yung so-called dilawan narrative, diba? Na inabuso, talagang pinersecute si Chief Justice Corona, at ito inuulit na naman nila.
Although I find that very puzzling, right? How they latch into that.
Yeah.
That's right. Only you were going to say something, Attorney?
I'd actually posit that, yes, there is a political, or rather, it is somewhat, it may be politically appealing to drive the persecution narrative.
Yeah.
But I think that for laypersons who are not especially particular about things that, well, evidence, even if it exists, it should be excluded. I think that there is also this contrary, at least, appeal that if it exists, if the truth is there, if the truth is there in these documents, why shield it?
Right.
Why use the legal processes to prevent that from being, from those being disclosed? And in fact, that is, I guess, at the heart of what the senators are apparently now actually caucusing on.
Which is ironic, speaking of political narrative, this was exactly the political narrative of the war on drugs. Kung wala kang tinatago, bakit ka matatakot, di ba? Ngayon, baligtad, no? Ginagamit naman against the Dutertes itong narrative.
But of course, the rules don't apply to...
Of course, Yan yung politika dyan.
That's right. Let's take a step back and talk about what brought us here. No?